Welcome back everyone. I'm so excited that you have come to join us today. We are going to be talking about the North Pole and the South Pole. We have been talking about the continent Antarctica, and today we're going to also talk about the North Pole, the Arctic Circle. Let's go see.
Hi, I'm Robbie. Hi, I'm Susie.
Hi, I'm Miss Carly, the teacher. It's time for
Hometime
with Robbie and Susie.
I have hands.
I have hands.
Watch me clap.
Watch me clap.
Oh, what a miracle am I. I have feet.
I have feet.
Watch me stand.
Watch me stand.
Oh, what a miracle am I. Oh, what a miracle. Oh, what a miracle. Every little part of me. I'm something special, so very special. There's nobody quite like me. I have arms.
I have arms.
Watch me swing.
Watch me swing.
Oh, what a miracle am I have legs.
I have legs.
They can bend and stretch.
They can bend and stretch.
Oh, what a miracle am I. Oh, what a miracle. Oh, what a miracle. Every little part of me. I'm something special, so very special. There's nobody quite like me. I have a spine.
I have a spine.
It can twist and bend.
It can twist and bend.
Oh, what a miracle am I have a 1 foot.
I have a 1 foot.
Watch me balance.
Watch me balance.
Oh, what a miracle am I. Oh, what a miracle. Oh, what a miracle. Every little part of me. I'm something special, so very special. There's nobody quite like me. There's nobody quite like me.
Hi everyone, so excited that you have joined us today. We are talking about the North Pole and the South Pole. We have been talking about the South Pole all week. It is Antarctica. It's a continent. And today we're going to sing a song that talks about North, South, East and West. Are you ready to sing with me? If you like the ocean best, travel east or travel west. If you like the cold, cold snow, north and south is where to go. If you like the hot, hot sun, the equator surely is fun, fun, fun. Would you like to sing it with me again? If you like the ocean best, travel east or travel west. If you like the cold, cold snow, north and south is where you should go. If you like the hot, hot sun, the equator is lots of fun. Thank you so much for singing my song with me. We talked about the North, South, East, West. We talked about the North Pole and the South Pole. And we've been talking about the South Pole all week, Antarctica. On this flat map, it looks very, very long. But on the globe, which is where we live, here in Australia, Antarctica is an island, just like Australia. It's about the same size, well, it looks the same size, and it's not long and flat like this. This one makes it look like it's bigger, much, much bigger than Australia. But it's round at the very bottom. Now, the South Pole is where my friends, the penguins, live. But did you know that even though it's cold there, that the polar bear does not live down here? He lives all the way up at the top. And the North Pole, there's no land at the very top of the world. There is Greenland and Canada and Russia, and they're all part of this Arctic circle at the top. And that's the North Pole. And that's where my polar bear lives. In fact, there's a lot of animals that live at the top. I have a book that tells a little bit about each of the poles. Let's see. It's called Poles Apart. And this is the North Pole and this is the South Pole in my book. We're not going to read all of it, we're just looking at some fun facts. Did you know? Well, we just told you that in the North Pole, the polar bears live, and in the South Pole, the penguins live, far away from each other. See the globe? Here they are. In the North Pole, there are lots of different plants that live. They do have to hold on to all the cold weather and live through that. So it's very hard for them to live. But in the Arctic, there's very, very little plants. There's these mosses and just very, very small plants because it's too cold and dry. In fact, let me get you to another page. It was only 200 years ago that people found Antarctica because Antarctica is a country that's frozen, a frozen continent, and people only live on it today if they're a scientist or investigating the animals and the plant life. Where in the North Pole, there's lots of people living in Russia, Canada, and Iceland. And in fact, because it's so cold, they can live in igloos. Let's have a look at another page. Here we have the narwhals that live in the North Pole, and this is a minke whale living in the South Pole. In fact, soon we will have whales going back down south to eat some yummy dinner. They've come all the way up to Australia to have their babies, and then they swim all the way back down to Antarctica to find yummy food. They eat krill and other small crustaceans. But in the north, there's a narwhal, and the narwhal has 2 teeth. The boy narwhals have this one long tooth that he grows. Pretty amazing, hey? Let's see what else we can find. In the North Pole, our puffins live. And in the South Pole is where the penguins live. That's close to us. Did you know that even though a puffin looks similar to a penguin, the puffin uses its wings to fly, where the penguin goes swimming through the ocean and they have special flipper feet. So does the puffin. They're very similar, but yet they're different, living in 2 totally different poles apart. One in the north and one in the south. How amazing is that? It has been so much fun looking at Antarctica with you. I hope that you've enjoyed listening to all of the fun facts. Now my friend Erica is going to read you a book about a polar bear and about a penguin, poles apart.
Oh wow, thanks Anna. I did not know that the penguins and polar bears lived poles apart. That was very interesting. Now we're going to read some stories about penguins and polar bears. Let's go. My mother and father build a nest of stones. Mother lays 2 eggs. 1, 2. We have hatched. Mother and father take turns to feed and guard us. Look, shoo, they're shooing away the birds. The mum's protecting her babies. I can't fly. On land I waddle. and slide on my tummy. That looks like fun. I am a good swimmer. I use my wings like flippers. Watch out, fish. I meet lots of other penguins. Can you tell which one is me? Wow, look at all the different types of penguins. Look, they're all having so much fun in the water. And can you see this? This is an iceberg. Wow, that was a nice story about penguins. Should we read the one about polar bears? All right. So, penguins are in the Antarctic. And did you remember where polar bears were from? The North Pole. In October, Mother made a warm den in the snow, high on a mountainside. My twin sister and I were born in December. We were tiny. Wow, look how tiny. We grew thick fur, even on the soles of our feet. In spring, we left the den. We played in the snow. Mother taught us to swim and hunt. Here are some things we like to eat. Ooh, they like to eat shellfish, fish, seabirds, eggs and chicks, berries and grasses, seals and rodents. Mother is big. She weighs 800 pounds. Wow. We will stay with Mother for a year or two. Sometimes we meet other bears for dinner. Would you like to join us? Look, they're all eating their dinner together. And that's the end of the story. Wow, I loved reading about polar bears and penguins. Now I have a song about the continents. So do you remember when Lauren spoke about the different continents that make up our world? All right, would you like to join in? 1, 2, 3. Do you know the continents, the continents, the continents? Do you know the continents on our maps and globes? North and South America, Africa, Australia, Europe and Antarctica. Asia's the biggest one. Do you know the continents, the continents, the continents? Do you know the continents? Yes, we know the continents on our maps and globes. Thank you for joining in. Would you like to sing that one more time? All right, here we go. Do you know the continents, the continents, the continents? Do you know the continents on our maps and globes? North and South America, Africa, Australia, Europe and Antarctica. Asia's the biggest one. Do you know the continents, the continents, the continents? Do you know the continents on our maps and globes? Thank you so much for joining in, friends. Now we're going to do some creative experience where we actually make a penguin, and we're going to use some wax and make a beautiful picture. Let's go.
Wow, they were 2 really good books, Erica. I learned so much about penguins and polar bears. I still can't believe one lives in the north and one lives in the south, so far away from each other.
I know, I never knew that. Fun fact.
Me neither. What are we making today?
So I'm going to create a penguin using everyday household items. So first I've got my egg carton, then I've got some bottle lids for my eyes, and then I've got a plastic bag, and I chose black and white because penguins are black and white. So I'll start by wrapping the egg carton. This is going to be the penguin's body. So I'm going to wrap the egg carton with the bag. If you want to use paint, you can use paint as well at home. You can use some black and white paint or whatever colour you want your penguin to be. So
Even some paper.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea too. Even paper.
I wonder what else around the house could be black and white. Even some newspaper.
Newspaper? That's a good one. All right, so I've got my bag on. Now I'm going to put my feet on. So I've just cut the egg carton in the middle to create 2 feet, 2 flippers to help them swim. So I'll just put them on the bottom. Ooh, 1, 2. Penguins are very good swimmers. Okay, now for the penguin's face.
What are you going to use? What have you got in there?
So I'm going to cut, oh, do you know penguins have a beak? So I'm going to cut the middle of the egg carton. So I've done one before, and then we're going to stick it on the front. So ready? We're going to get some sticky tape and put the beak on. All right, now we've got our beak on. It's time for our eyes. So to do the eyes, I thought we could use some glue. So 1 eye. And then 2 eyes. Now while I'm putting my eyes on and putting my head on, would you like to show everyone what you're going to create?
Well, we've been talking about penguins, but we've also been talking about polar bears. So I have got a big, nice piece of paper, and I have got my crayons and some blue water paint, which is really easy to make. If you don't have it at home, you just get some food dye and put it in some water, and it works. The best bit about this is that water resists the crayons. So whatever I draw on my page and then I paint over the top, the paint doesn't go in the crayon, it goes on the other side. So I'm going to draw a polar bear. I'm going to give him a big body, a big round body, and then a round head, because polar bears are big, and then he needs some big legs. And at the bottom of his legs, he needs some paws.
Did you know only baby polar bears only stay with their mum for 1 to 2 years?
What?
And then they go off into the world by themselves.
Does the mum teach them how to hunt?
Yes, the mum teaches them to do everything before they can go off and make their own family.
Did you know that the baby polar bears live under the snow at night time?
Ooh, yes I did.
Keeps them nice and warm and cozy inside. Have nice big ears to hear with. Give them a little bit of a black nose.
Now, for my penguin, did you remember when we spoke about that penguins have feathers and they're waterproof? So that's why they love to swim and their feathers don't get affected by the water. And it also keeps them super warm as well. So I might do a black and a white feather. We're just going to put them anywhere to represent their beautiful feathers. One feather. And 2 feathers.
Looking good.
Thank you.
Now that I have coloured in my polar bear, so big and fluffy, keeping nice and warm, I'm going to use my blue paint. She'll see what happens.
I'm excited.
Look,
Wow.
already the water resists, and the blue and the yellow comes out. I'm going to keep going. You'll see some more. Swimming in the icy, icy water. I wonder how a baby polar bear learns how to swim in the icy, icy water for the first
I
time.
know it would be very cold. I know I wouldn't want to swim in that water. Okay, I've finished my homemade penguin. So I've got my feathers, I've got my eyes, I've got my beak, and I've got my 2 flippers down the bottom that will help him swim and catch some fish. So I would love to see you create your very own penguin at home using anything that you can find around the house. I'm definitely going to do this again and maybe use some newspaper. That was such a great idea, Anna.
Thank you, Erica. I wonder what else they could use at home. I'm sure they could find so many fun things. Here is my polar bear, and you can still, it's a little bit wet, so it's a bit tricky. Just put some, no, it's gonna drip all over. Sorry guys. But here's my polar bear with all the blue water dripping everywhere and going for a swim. But you can still see him because the crayon resists the water. You can make all sorts of things under the water. I wonder what else lives in the water.
Maybe a whale. We've created a whale this week.
Yep.
What else?
Penguins.
Penguins under the water, some fish, and a seal.
I wonder if you could try,
anything.
you could try any of those things. We'd love to see them, and we'd love to see what you do in preschool as well. We can't wait to see you next time. Thank you so much for joining us this week. See you next time.
Bye.